Hey, welcome to today's Daily Devo. And in this series, we're talking about the 21 days of prayer leading up to Easter. And for day 16, I'll be in Matthew chapter 25. I encourage you to read that chapter. We're talking about the story of the 10 virgins as well as the 3 servants with the talents. And for the disciples, and as the week moved on, they moved throughout the city of Jerusalem with Jesus. And the disciples had some pressing questions on their mind. When would the end of the world be, and when would Messiah's reign happen? After all, for them, when the Messiah arrives, everything promised about peace and security would be fulfilled. So they really wanted to know, when will all these things promised happen? So in Matthew chapter 24, Jesus gives his disciples some clues about the end of the world. While Jesus, in his teaching, is not specific about times and events, he does let them know that they should be prepared for when then the end time arrives. He then follows it up with some principles to live by while they wait by telling them 2 stories, which I just referenced. In the first story, Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 13, Jesus tells of the 10 virgins waiting for the bridegroom. The foolish ones were not prepared to endure because they took no extra oil. The wise ones were ready, and even though the bridegroom took time to come, now this is Jesus' way of saying to the disciples that his return will not be immediate. They took extra oil, meaning they were ready to endure. So the application to the question the disciples were asking about the fulfillment of the promised coming of the Messiah was to be ready to endure. In the second story, a master leaves but gives each of his servants money or talents to invest. He gives one servant 5 talents, he gives another one 2 talents, and he gives another one 1 talent. The one who had 5 and 2 immediately put it to work. The one simply hid it for safekeeping. The master comes back after a long time, and the Bible emphasizes this again, and expects a return. The one with the 5 doubles his money, and he is rewarded. The one with the 2 earns 2, and he is rewarded. The one with the 1 has nothing, not even interest, and is punished. Now why? Well, because he wasted what the master had given him. What is the principle Jesus is trying to teach in this story? Well, he is saying don't waste or hide or hoard your resources, but continue using what he has given you for his good. So as the disciples are wondering about the promises being fulfilled, Jesus is saying that it's not up to us. We should not worry about the timing of his coming as much as it is to busy ourselves doing good and having endurance in doing good until he comes. Jesus promises that his coming is imminent, meaning it's going to happen. We have to have hope in that. And in a book entitled The Hope of the Early Church, the author tells us, it is the hope of believing people that the incompleteness of their present existence of God's will be resolved. Their present thirst for God will be fulfilled, and their present need for salvation will be realized. This hope was sealed for us through Jesus' death and resurrection. He made a way for us to God, and creation will one day be renewed. But as we are waiting and wondering, much like the disciples, we are to continue to do good and do it often with endurance until he comes. I have a reflection question. How do you continue to do good while we wait on his return? Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.